Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fetish Cafe. It's been 2 freaking years, but we're back and we've got some new content coming through. Today we are speaking with, and I actually didn't get a code name before this recording because it's just been so long. What name are we using today, sir?
Derrick.
Derrick. We're talking to Derrick. And Derrick, first thing I have to ask you, man, is how old are you?
24.
24 years old. Cool. So let's just jump right into it. What are we going to be talking about today, Derrick? What's the fetish of the day? And I'm quite excited about this one because I share this one with you.
Foot fetish.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. So, first question is so when did you like? What age were you when you found out that you had a thing for feet?
Um, Honestly, I don't know an exact age. I just know I was pretty young, really young actually. Um, Honestly, I would just see girls' feet on like the TV, like TV shows, and it would like I'd get excited. And I know I was pretty young during that occurrence. It goes as far back as I remember.
So, do you have any like instances or anything that you could recall from being that young other than just the TV? Like, did you have a family member or something like when you were little, anything like that?
See, that's a good one because I've always wondered. I would try so hard to remember and look back. I know for sure I remember like the TV instance, but I know I had this nanny a long time ago, and she would always bounce me on her leg, and she would set me by her feet a lot. So I
Yeah.
think that's another thing. I have a vague memory of that.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's what's always interesting to me is just kind of how the roots of everything formed. Do you remember? So you said you were very young, but you don't remember an exact age.
Yeah, I was maybe 5 or 6.
So when you hit puberty, started to have to deal with that. Did you confide in anybody? Did you tell anybody, or was it a dirty little secret?
No, I never told anyone till I was a freshman in high school.
Okay. Who did you tell? Did
I
you tell
told
like?
my very first girlfriend.
Oh, cool, cool.
She was
How did
the
that
first
go
one.
over?
It went great. She accepted it, she loved it too. Wild enough, she actually told me she had a thing for feet as well.
Oh, wow. So was she into like doing stuff to your feet, or was she just interested in having stuff done to her?
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I've never rested on the end of having anybody messing with my feet. How did that go?
It was great. I mean, it was a great experience considering I wasn't ashamed of it all those years, and then the first time I opened up about it to my first girlfriend, I got to indulge and be able to experience it firsthand.
See, that's like the best case scenario.
Yep.
And this is the kind of stuff that I try to tell people. So, I mean, me and you both are active in like the foot fetish community. There is a community of us out there. We do exist, and we're not all insane. And that's another reason why I'm excited to do this episode. I'm supposed to have a few other guests lined up too for this exact thing because this is a big one for me. So anyway, let's keep going. So what? So there are many levels to a foot fetish. There are many things that really divide us into different categories of what we like. Some like smelly feet. Some actually detest that. Some like toes, soles. It just varies from person to person. So where do you land on this? And I'll answer this question after you too.
Right, right. Yeah, there's a whole spectrum of this, just like everything. Um, I personally like soles. I like when they smell. I don't like dirty, but I like when they smell, if that makes sense.
So me and you are right in the same ballpark.
Yeah, and I'm bigger in the like socks.
Holy shit,
So
dude! Rock on. Yeah,
yeah,
we're super the same because I'm the exact same
yeah.
way.
I'm big in the socks and like them being smelly. I don't like dirty. Um, but like as for feet themselves, I really like more mature looking feet. I like wrinkles.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
like when they're look too young, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes
So
perfect sense.
and I like foot jewelry, like anklets and toe rings,
Oh
like
yeah,
that
dude.
too.
I think girls don't wear those enough these
Yeah, and
days.
it's usually the more mature older ladies too that wear those.
So are
Yeah.
you okay? So you've got the whole mature thing going. Have you ever been with a much older woman?
I have, but not feet wise like I would
Oh,
like.
okay.
That's like still on my bucket list.
Heck yeah, man.
All the feet I've had are more around my age. So,
Well, I mean, hey, still good, right? Just
yeah, yeah, for sure.
you got to have a goal. There's the mountaintop that you've got to reach,
Yeah.
and that's the mature souls. So yeah, just to kind of echo that, I'm a soul man. I really actually like odor a lot. You know, the worse the better for me.
Yep.
And you know, when it comes to dirt, it can be a little dirty, but just not filthy. That's just a complete turn off. Like girls walking barefoot all over the place, not
Yeah, that
interested.
bothers me so much.
Yeah, not interested at all. So, what was your? So you said you had an experience in high school. Was that your first experience?
Yeah, that was my first actual experience in high school. Was with my girlfriend, my first girlfriend. Throughout high school, I was with her, so that was all I experienced then. Then
So,
oh, go ahead.
no, you're good. Keep talking.
And then I eventually got with another girl, did the same thing, let her know, and she was the same way. She wasn't like into it like the first one, but she definitely let me indulge and you know, accepted it and let me do my thing with it.
Man, so
So,
I'm going to use you as an example, Derek. To anybody listening to this out there, if you are nervous about talking to somebody, look, if you've been dating somebody, now I'm not saying first date. Now, I'll actually ask you that in a second. But, you know, maybe not first date, maybe first date. It's really up to you. But don't hide this stuff, man. It's so pointless to hide this stuff. Derek is a perfect example of opening up to somebody and just hitting a home run every single time.
yep.
You don't have to hide and wait until you're older to experience these things. Um, so that does bring me to the question: are you currently seeing somebody?
Uh, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And does she know?
Yep.
Was she cool about it?
Yeah, she was.
Hot damn.
Honestly, I will continue off what you were saying. Yeah, you should definitely open up about it as soon as you can. Uh, no point in hiding it, 'cause you shouldn't have to, live your life a certain way just to please someone else. If they can't accept you for who you are, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to get it out of the way as soon as you can, because if they truly like you, they're going to accept you for who you are and they're going to be okay with it. But if they're going to shame you for it and not be okay with it, then why even be with them in the first place?
I completely agree, man. And
I I would never ever, if like I've there's only been one girl, and I've been with a decent amount of women and told them, and there's only been one girl that was not cool with it, and I said, okay, well, best of luck to you. I'm not gonna, hold myself down or live a certain way just because you can't accept me.
Derek, you're awesome, dude. That's so fucking awesome. Because so I'm married. I've been married for about 14 years now.
Okay.
And before I married my wife, we were engaged, and You know, you're a lot braver than I am because I didn't share things with her right away. It took a little while. We dated for a year, and around the time that I got engaged to her, I was like, listen, so I'm not going to marry somebody who's not at least going to give me a chance to experience these things. Because I'll be honest with you, Derek, I haven't had your luck, man. My dating life was very minuscule at best, and just I'm a nerd, so things never go over well. And of course, when you're older like me now, you don't care anymore. But in those early days, oof, terrifying to admit something like that for me anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I just told her point blank. I was like, this won't work unless you're at least willing to try this. Now, my wife isn't like into it. She's not, you know, crazy about it, but she lets me indulge. And she plays along. So it's like if I have a special request or something going on. See, I'm very much like you. I love socks, but I also love nylons. I have a huge thing for nylons and netting, and holy shit. And it's great. And she's great. And yeah, as soon as I opened up about it, she was expecting worse when I was like, hey, okay, so I've got this fetish I gotta tell you about. She was really nervous, right?
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. We are not as weird as it can get. Now, I don't kink shame. Whatever you're into, go for it. You know, that's the point of this show as a whole. But so when you had your first experience with your girl in high school, did that? So I've been reading a lot more that guys are like they get to lick their first foot or suck their first toes, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't like it. I didn't get up." Like, oh, like I'm not fully understanding that. Did you have that experience, or was it just gung ho from the get?
Honestly, I can see where they're coming from. Uh, it's more of their expectations are so high because like the fantasy is so like strong, and when it goes on for so long, and you've never done it, and all you can do is think and just think of all this amazing stuff, um and then see when you set expectations that high, no matter what, it'll never live up to them. In my opinion, it when they're that high, they'll never be able to live up to the expectations you set. So I can see why they would think that, because when they actually get to doing it, they're like, "Oh, well, this isn't as magical as I thought it would be," or you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I get what you're saying. If you, it's like walking into a movie. If you think it's going to be the best movie in the entire universe,
Yeah.
and you've been dying to see it, and then when you see it, of course, it's never going to live up to what you thought it would.
Right, it could be a 10 out of 10 movie, but it's still not gonna change, world hunger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely,
same with video
absolutely.
games. Like, it's just if you hype
Yes.
something up way too much, it can be perfect in every way, shape, and form. It's still not gonna be what you said it to be. So I think honestly, it's a lot of that, because I can see where they're coming from. When I first did it, it wasn't all that. So I can agree. I still love it a lot, but my
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
experience wasn't what I thought it would be for sure.
See,
Plus,
that's the only part where I think I our paths separate a little bit because my first experience was just absolutely everything I wanted it to be and more. You know.
okay, yeah. I mean, it's not honestly, that's where a lot of people separate too, because there's that half that's like, oh, well, it wasn't what I expected it, and others like, oh, it was amazing. I mean, it's always going to be like that. I still love it. It just wasn't. I think it's because I'm not as into the whole licking and sucking as I'm into smelling. I think that's what it is,
So
because
let's.
I will
Yeah. Go
take
ahead.
I will take smelling over licking 10 times out of 10.
So, yeah, okay, and I'm kind of there with you, but like, so what? I'm trying to think of how to phrase this because I kind of agree with you, but dude, I mean, I don't know. Licking is always going to be where it's at, for me personally. But so what's the okay? I gotta rephrase my thoughts here. It's been a long time, everybody. I'm sorry. Um, have you ever bought socks from someone online? Has that ever happened for you?
Never bought socks online because
Yeah, me neither.
I've never had to. If you want me to
Right.
be honest, I don't want to sound like, you know, sound like some type of cocky guy or something, but I've just honest to God never had to. Like you said, I've been a lucky guy. Um,
Man's hit a home run. Why does
e-
he need to buy your shit?
yeah, every girl I've had a steady flow of girlfriends the past couple years, and every time every time like we break up, I end up getting another one within 6 months. But I hold pretty long relationships. But
Living the dream.
the last two girlfriends I've had, they wore socks for weeks for me. Like
Weeks?
yeah,
Wow.
my last girlfriend, actually had a foot fetish, like a really big one, like bigger than my first one. And she loved it. She loved everything about it. She would, um, she would let me record her feet, take pictures. She would wear her socks for months. And
Holy shit.
she would smell her own socks.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
it was definitely the best girlfriend I've ever had. I could just say that. She she um she loved it, and loved that I got off to her feet. She would get off to me getting off to her feet. And we would have sex, but we would do stuff with her feet more than sex.
Yeah, that's actually kind of how my relationship is too.
Yeah, because there would be times where she wouldn't want sex, but she would want me to play with her feet, and I'm fine because either way I'm getting off, you know.
Hell
So
yeah.
it was honestly it was a big win, and that's where I'm getting to the I'll choose smelling over licking anytime because she would always have smelly socks, and that's what I wanted. So I would mostly just smell them.
So, coming back to like, I guess the roots of the thing, like, when did you realize? So, of course, you saw feet on TV, and that was like, oh, cool, I like that. But when did you realize that the odor was something that got you off? Like, how did that come about for you?
Honestly, that's a tough one. I don't even know. Um,
You don't know. You haven't dug in those memory banks to find that one
I
out.
I it would have to. I mean, obviously, at one point, I'd have to smell someone's to know it. Made me feel some type of way, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
only makes
yeah.
sense. So maybe, maybe a aunt or cousins or you know,
But you never did like, and I mean, look, everybody. I'm talking about for anybody that would judge either one of us. I'm talking about when like we're kids here and we're still going through it, right? So
right.
you never snuck anybody's socks or did anything like that you can recall.
Trying to think. I've definitely done that.
I think we all have at one point in our lives if we've had a
Yeah.
foot fetish.
One of my sister's friends. That's who it was.
Yeah, there you go.
It wasn't. I don't think I've done that with any cousins or anything, but my one of my sister's friends. Oh, I have one now. Now that I think
Ah,
about it.
go for it.
So yeah, my sister had this friend, and I would always try and play with her feet even while they were around. See, I was bold as a kid. I was really bold.
How old were
Um,
you at this point? Just curious.
I was
If you had
probably
to guess.
I was probably 6 or 7.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So but they would be in her room, just playing, and I would always try and See, my thing is I would always try and wrestle her as a way to
Yeah.
get to her feet, and I would tickle them.
Yep.
So that was an experience. I would mess with her, and there was one point I licked her foot and I ran away. See, I would just do stupid stuff like that as a kid. Like I was really bold though. I was really bold.
Yeah, man, that's cool. So I've got a few experiences. I don't have anything outlandish, and I have one story that most people wouldn't believe that maybe I'll share at a later date. But the big one for me was at least the way I learned that I was into smell. So I played basketball for about 3 years in high school,
Okay.
and I would come home from practice, and I'm a gamer, so I would, take my shoes, socks off, and I'm a kid, so I didn't jump in the shower. So I would sit down and play video games, and I would sit Indian style, and I would like just naturally smell my own feet from where I was sitting from practice.
Okay.
And I would be like, it wouldn't get me like hard or anything, but I would be like, man, I like that. Like
Right.
that's such a weird thing for me, but I really like that.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started figuring it out, because it was just something that I enjoyed the odor from myself. And that's when I realized I could get off to it, but it was not the full blown experience. Dude, again, you're lucky. Your story is going to be rare, honestly. Because for me, I didn't really get to actually do anything until me and my wife messed around. Then again, like I said, I do have one story that's hard to believe. That's kind of a weird one, but like I said, I think I'm gonna keep that one in the pocket. I've got a few other interviews, so I'm gonna tease people with tune into the other ones, and you'll hear that one.
All right.
Derrick, anything else you want to share with us, man? Any other experiences, any words of wisdom, or maybe you, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe you write fan fiction or you write stories or something. Anything you want to plug, man?
Um, Honestly, not really. Just the only thing I could say is, be yourself. What I was saying earlier, and don't don't hide it from no one. Don't if you're not comfortable opening up, that's fine. But you shouldn't have to live your life the way that you don't want to, out of fear or out of someone being embarrassed or afraid of something someone might say.
Be loud and proud, and that is what we are attempting to accomplish with this show. Derrick, I want to thank you so freaking much, man. It has been a pleasure. It's always nice to talk to someone who doesn't look at you weird about this stuff. Even though we can't see each other, I don't feel like you would look at me weird, because I definitely wouldn't look at you weird. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening to this. It really is great to be back, and I'm really hoping to have more and more content. And yeah, thanks again, and we will see you on the next one.